It is the Riot Podcast. Welcome to Wednesday, August 31st, the final podcast in August.
Wow. Where's the year at? Where's the summer at now?
It's just flown by.
We're going into September.
Can you believe it's almost September?
Guys, then we're going to get to fall, and then we're going to get to Christmas.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Gloss over the fall, which is such a wonderful time of year. It really
I know.
is.
It'll be good.
It's got a lot of great things to offer. Well, today in the show, I will lead off by saying we started a new segment that I'm pretty excited about because I came up with it. It's called Couples Complaints, and it's where you just you let us know something you need to complain about that your partner, your friend, whoever does. You just need to kind of let it out, even though you might not want to confront them about it, and then we can just make fun of them, basically.
Well, we'll make fun. We'll be a part of the healing process.
Exactly.
Even though I feel, though, since Isaiah, you told us one with your roommate, I feel like roommates might also be a stronger contender than just a couple.
Yeah, the roommates, I don't have a lot of complaints about Andrew, but I do reveal one of my complaints about him that did kind of unravel why Jim is such a bad dog.
Yeah. We learned a lot. We already had a big breakthrough for you. And so this is what we offer for everybody.
So it's like we're in therapy. Is that it?
Uh-huh.
And are we the doctors? Or?
You share?
We're both. It just depends on the day. One day we're the patient, one day we're the doctors.
Yeah.
It's a weird dynamic.
That's right.
Uh-huh. What else do we got?
We also talked about pilots threatening to turn the whole plane around due to some inappropriate photos.
That ever happened to you?
I have never. Which one?
Are you asking like on a
I just
plane,
left it open-ended because
Yeah.
I wanted to see where you go with it.
I have
did you ever
never-
make your dad so upset that he threatened to turn the car around or something like that?
I don't remember him ever doing that. I'm sure he did because that's like everybody's go-to
Oh,
thing.
I'm sure between you and your brothers, the car was turned around.
Yeah, like you'd think like I'll turn this car around, whatever. I'm sure he said that at some point. Nobody ever means that when they say it.
No, because it would, in the dad's case, it would ruin the vacation for your dad,
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
Whereas if it's the pilot, whatever, it's just another flight for him.
I think he could actually just turn it around.
Yeah, right. And
What
he'd
you
be
gonna
no
do?
worse
Yeah.
for wear. Yep.
But yeah, I've never, that I can think of, my dad's never actually turned the car around, nor have I ever been airdropped inappropriate photos.
Nikki,
What?
ever happened to you?
I've been flashed in person.
Oh.
You've been flashed in
yeah.
person?
Yikes.
I've never been
Campus.
flashed
Yeah.
before.
I've never been flashed by somebody who was flashing. I've seen people
I've seen people
in that.
accidentally.
Yeah.
But that was me. It was me in the Radio U parking lot. I had to go to the bathroom. That's my fault again.
You really can't react. And even if someone airdrops, just don't accept it. But sometimes you have to accept it to find out who's doing it.
Yeah.
To then be able to, like on the plane, they were telling another story about this older guy who was sending horrible pictures to the entire plane. And so when she accepted it, she could tell, like, hey, it was this person. And then they were able to arrest
You
him.
can tell just by looking at it.
Yeah,
who
so
it
it's hard. 'cause
You're like, it's got to be that dude over there. It's got to be him.
and so you're just kind of like, what? I just excited to see a tiny bit so that way you can arrest him.
Jeez, you know how down bad you have to be? Like, how, like, in what world would that ever be a good idea? That's just what I'm, like,
That's what
trying to
I was saying.
contemplate.
I was like, what is the, it just has to be for seeing people's shocked reactions
It's the
because
shock.
otherwise,
But you could set up, like, a lot of things
what
to
is the
shock 'em.
positive end game? Like, what is your best case scenario if you're doing that?
I think if you just start airdropping like nice puppy pictures or like little kittens or something.
That's cute, yeah.
And then the whole plane would be like better and happier and nicer, but you just want to tear things down and ruin the trip.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Lame.
not the ideal way to go there. We also talked about another plane flight story about how people claim that they would pay more if they could fly without children on the plane.
And
Or
we're not talking
the old
about
guy who was sending the pictures.
Yeah, exactly. They would pay a lot
exactly.
more to be on the plane without him.
We shouldn't have to. But the to be clear with the flying without kids, it's people that don't have kids that don't want to fly with other people's kids. It's not parents saying, "Oh, I'd pay so much if I could fly and somebody else took my kids." Man, that'd be a dream.
Like there's a like a babysitter thing on the plane.
Yeah. You know what? That's probably not a bad idea though. A plane babysitter.
There's not room for anything else on these planes.
Actually, that could be a solution that helps everybody out.
A plane babysitter?
Force just like one or two people to babysit all the youngins, and meanwhile the parents can just chill out, have some free time, and the people that hate kids would be far away from the kids too. So it's actually I think that's a win-win.
No, we cover it in the actual thing. The only way for anybody to be happy based on all these arguments and people being mad about flying with this and that and who would be really if you could afford being on your own plane. It doesn't have to be too big, but just something so you don't have to fly with anybody else.
That's the way to go.
Yeah, flying is just like so uncomfortable because you're just like so trapped on there. You're trapped with all these people that you don't know, and it's never like you never feel like right because you're up in the air, your ears haven't popped, and so with the kids yelling at the same time, that never usually helps anybody that's on the plane.
Yeah, flying in any situation is a nightmare. Let's just leave it at that.
Yay.
Well, happy Labor Day weekend travels, everyone.
Hopefully everybody's ready to strap on the plane, baby.
Yeah.
Avoid the kids and avoid the weird old men. You're good. Don't accept any airdrops.
But if anything happens, please feel free to tell us the story so we can feature you next week. So make sure if you have any plans traveling this weekend, you stay safe and you just have a good time and you take it easy.
All right. Well, that ought to do.
Enjoy the podcast. You can always text us any story, anything you want, or just to say hi at 877-2-RADIO-U.
See you guys.
Catch you next time.
You won't hear a show like this anywhere else. And that's probably for the best. The worst of the Riot. Radio U.
So I have here a list from Netflix. They put out their release schedule for everything for the rest of the year. They've got a lot of movies coming out. And so I want to find out from you guys, what are we actually looking forward to on Netflix? Isaiah, do you still have access to a Netflix account?
I do.
Yeah.
All right. All right. And Nikki, I know you're still paying for one,
I'm
aren't
the
you?
only one in the room paying for Netflix.
Yeah. What
That
a
is
sucker. What a sucker. All right.
I'm doing it wrong.
You're paying so that we can so that I can not watch any of these things. You're keeping them going.
You're welcome.
And I just have access to it and never use it. So here I'll give you a couple of the top biggest titles because we can't go through all of them.
Sure.
Enola Holmes 2.
I liked the first one.
You liked it?
Yeah,
you
it wasn't
watched
bad.
it?
It wasn't bad at all.
So did it?
It has Henry Cavill in it. A lot of people just like to watch his stuff.
So that it's just for that.
It's mostly for him.
Okay. Is he going to be in the second one?
Yeah, probably.
All right, Isaiah, does that appeal to you?
I don't even know who Enola is, if I'm being perfectly
it's
honest.
like Sherlock Holmes, but it's
like the girl version?
it's the girl from like Stranger Things.
Got it.
All right, so that's
a no. He didn't see
So that's
it.
a no. I have not seen
a
that.
no from Isaiah, a no from me, but a yes from Nikki.
Sure.
All right, I think we've got Isaiah on this one. Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery.
Hey.
You like the
that
first
sounds
Knives
kinda
Out,
cool.
huh?
Did you watch Knives Out?
Knives Out. Which one was that?
Daniel Craig.
It's like a murder mystery thing.
Doesn't sound familiar
Are
to
you
me.
sure? I thought you were recommending that.
I'm
to
just
me.
joking. I just recommended that to
You
like
just
2
said
days
it a couple
ago.
days ago.
Yeah, I love that movie. It was so good. I would definitely want to see the second one because the first one was so interesting.
That's December 23rd.
I need to watch the first one.
The first one's really good. If you haven't seen it yet, you definitely should.
But Isaiah never watches any of my movie recommendations, so.
Oh, boo-hoo.
Okay, what about this one? December 9th is Pinocchio, but it's not the Tom Hanks Pinocchio on Disney Plus. That's like next week. This is the Guillermo del Toro, the Shape of Water mermaid love story guy. He's made Pinocchio in a like claymation style.
At that point, I'm afraid what's going to happen.
No, I think it's
Some of
rated
this stuff is
PG. I
odd.
think it's gonna be fine.
I know.
And The
but I
Shape of
don't
Water
know.
was quite good, actually. I like that movie. I like The Shape of Water.
Is he joking or
I
being
don't know.
serious?
I don't know.
I like Guillermo del Toro has done a lot of good movies. So, although the Pinocchio does, like the way it looks upsets me.
How about we say a maybe on that one?
That's a maybe.
That's a maybe.
And then speaking of animation that kind of upsets me, have you seen anything about Wendell and Wild?
I don't think so.
That is a new movie. It's Key and Peele. They are Wendell and Wild. It is an animated movie. It's stop motion. I believe it's from the guy who did, if you remember, what is it, Coraline?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I know that one.
Yeah,
Is it that style?
It's that style. Yeah, stop motion. It just looks weird. But it's called Wendell and Wild.
But we're going to let Pinocchio pass through?
Yeah, we're just going to act as if that's going to go.
No, it looks weird also. I think it looks weird.
Listen, Netflix, everything looks weird.
Yeah, why are you
We
making
just
such
get normal
weird
ones?
looking
Yeah.
movies, please? If you want more animated movies that I know nothing about, Drifting Home comes out on September 16th, and My Father's Dragon is in November. And then let's see, is there anything else?
Oh, you're missing the bottom part. Christmas movies.
I know, I see that one.
Isaiah, all the romantic comedy Christmas movies that
All the
Netflix can
rom-coms.
release. Woo!
As many as you can.
Do you get into that, the Christmas movies?
I don't really do that many Christmas movies. I mean, in Christmas time, I'll watch Christmas movies, but like I never do like new ones usually.
Not the Hallmark
It's always like the
styles.
same ones that I've already seen.
So you're not interested in the Noel Diary?
See, also,
Falling for Christmas?
I don't think that one's for me.
Christmas with you? These sound
I
like
am.
the worst. This is the worst.
Yep, the worse
This
they
is
are, the
why
better.
you're paying for Netflix and why Isaiah and I wisely don't.
I'll take it.
What about the Matilda musical? How do you feel about that?
I don't like musicals in general.
Yeah.
That's a no for me.
Neither do I, but Matilda is I recall it from my childhood. Not watching it, just knowing of it.
Just knowing what it was.
Yeah.
Well, so if you want to see, Netflix has a very, very long list
It
because
is.
they're almost to the end of the year for them and their releases, and they're just they mapped out everything.
I feel like this is like a last hurrah for us, though, Isaiah.
Why's that?
With the what they're cutting down in the new year on the password sharing stuff.
Oh, are they
Like,
going to do that?
that's
They always
supposed to
say
start-
that. They've been
No,
saying
but
that
it's
for
real
so long.
This time, it's real. It's
I'm not
supposed
really
to-
worried about the password sharing stuff because I'm not password sharing.
You're not?
I'm just
But
on
you're
it.
still logged into another in another location.
sorry.
I'm logged in a different house, but that's okay. They're not going
Isaiah-
to cut me out.
Isaiah bought a TV on Facebook Marketplace. It was logged into Netflix,
Netflix.
and it's still logged into Netflix.
And I'm not logging out either, baby.
To hear the argument if like Netflix, puts up I don't know, they start chatting with you or whatever, and you're like, I didn't log in.
Listen, it's
I'm
just
not
on-
password
Wasn't me.
sharing. Yeah. It's
The
not my
original
fault.
guy logged into this, all right?
And he's still
He's
paying.
still
Yeah.
This is Radio U's Worst of the Riot.
Nikki, I'm sure you've seen this TikTok going around, the Southwest Airlines flight, where the pilot of the flight had to turn into like the angry dad.
Oh, the Cabo one?
Is that what it is? Cabo?
Well, they were going to
Oh, yeah. That's
Cabo,
right.
and someone was causing some issues, which this has been a unfortunate newer trend for airline flights.
Yeah,
like we needed one more problem.
Right. Yeah. People have, it seems, gotten away from creating physical altercations on flights that get them thrown off. And now they're just kind of doing it a little more like casually.
Yeah.
And so what was happening on this flight and what we've seen on previous flights as well is a person was airdropping nude pictures to everybody that had Apple devices, right?
Yep.
In the area.
And this
so
can
everybody
happen,
on the flight.
This can happen a lot in like classrooms or like if you take public transportation.
Yeah.
Anytime where there's a large gathering of people, someone's trying to do this.
There's somebody that just really wants to show off everything, or at least something. And so that's what this person was doing. And
Not the pilot.
no, not the pilot.
Someone
right.
in the plane.
So if you haven't seen the TikTok, the pilot gets upset. The pilot comes out and says, if you don't stop airdropping these nudes to everybody, he says, quit sending naked pictures or we'll have to pull back into the gate. Everybody's going to have to get off. We're going to have to get security involved and vacation is going to be ruined. Basically, if you were ever on a road trip with your family and you and your siblings weren't getting along and your dad would be like, so help me, I will turn this car, I will pull this car over.
We've all heard that.
And that's what the pilot was going with here. So I guess it worked, right?
Well,
Did they
I'm
stop?
Yeah, it seemed like it because they made it to their vacation destination. But I mean, it's unfortunate. Someone can ruin a whole plane of people
Yeah.
trying to basically get to vacation.
Now, Nikki, you have an Apple device, right?
Yeah.
I'm not accusing you of doing this, but
Thank you.
but what I want to know is,
You have to accept the picture.
okay,
You have
but
to accept the airdrop.
what is AirDrop though?
Airdrop is like if we were close enough, instead of texting it or messaging it, it's just another way to send usually pictures
Yeah.
or files. So imagine
Nude files,
just files, just saying that.
nude or otherwise.
I don't know a lot of people who use airdrop as much except for this.
Right.
So it's
I'm just kind of
unfortunate.
wondering. It's not
It has a stigma.
It's not that I'm blaming Apple either. I just don't really, there's just any multitude of ways where you can send, get files from one point A to point B.
No, just think, I mean, if someone was there and I actually wanted to send a legitimate file, but I didn't know their number, so I couldn't text it to them.
Then you ask for their number.
I don't ask for their number.
If you can't get their number, you shouldn't be sending them stuff.
Listen, this is hypothetical. And I was just like, hey, I'll just send it to you real quick. And so you're airdropping it right to them.
I think it's really unnecessary.
But it's a lot of stranger danger, guys.
It feels like it's more harm than good, don't you think?
Well,
you said it. All you hear is about the nudes, the unwanted nudes, to be very clear, and maybe unsuspecting. You don't even realize what it is until it's too late. You never hear of any positive airdrop stories.
Well, that's why you never accept an airdrop from someone you don't know.
Well, why can't we just turn it off?
Well, okay. Apple, yeah. Hi, Hudson.
You're the go-between here.
Hudson's talking to you.
I've got some ideas I think will really help your business. And I think one of them is getting rid of airdrops so people don't get surprised with nude pictures.
It is usually someone trying to get your attention. And have we ever talked about on this show something called a negative attention?
But some people thrive on that.
They do.
Especially when it's anonymous.
This is called cyber flashing, basically.
Yeah.
So they're just flashing.
And yeah, I don't know. It is one of those weird things because I guess the problem with it being anonymous is even if somebody was like, oh boy, I'm glad to get this, they wouldn't know how to, what do you do?
They say
where do you go from there?
If someone flashes you, you are supposed to just ignore it because they want the emotion out of you. But if
you're saying the pilot was doing the wrong thing here?
No, I think actually he handled this quite well.
Okay.
Because he could have turned the plane around.
He could have,
and everybody could have.
And that would have been even more attention for Mr. New or Mrs. We don't know.
No, they do know.
Oh, it's Mr.
Yeah, it was Mr. So for that, they just say that if you are on a flight in some states, in some areas, like it could be, I think like a $500 fine if they can figure out. So they will try to arrest the person. But this seems to be a trend. If you're flying, never accept an airdrop.
I guess if you're kind of serially doing it, then eventually they probably would catch you because it's like, why does there just so happen to be so many nude pictures airdropped everywhere you seem to go?
Yeah, they can figure it out.
And you're the one guy not complaining about it. Weird.
Hudson, Nikki, The Riot on Radio U.
Answer honestly, Nikki.
Yeah.
You ever had a Bud Light Rita?
A what? Like a margarita with a Bud Light?
Yeah, the Bud Light Lime-A-Ritas or anything like that? I'll be honest. The first alcohol I ever tasted was a Bud Light Lime-A-Rita.
Really?
Which is why I've never had alcohol. No, they are the Bud Light.
Bud Light's like, hey!
Yeah, the Bud Light Lime-A-Rita and the whole Rita line.
Are those still a thing, or is this an old thing?
I believe they still make them. I think they do. If they discontinued them, I think it would have been pretty recently. Well, I'll tell you, they at least were in business until July 19th of 2022, because that plays a role in what we're talking about here. Anybody who has bought and consumed, I guess even if you technically haven't consumed it, you still have it in your fridge or you bought it and threw it out or whatever. If you bought a Bud Light Rita, which is their, it's 8% alcohol. You buy like in the alcohol aisle, it's with the beer and stuff. And believe it or not, they're not actually margaritas.
So are people mad because is that like advertising lying?
Are people mad? Is one person mad? Did they see a legal loophole that meant they thought they could get some money out of it? Some lawyers probably. That is probably more likely the case. Bud Light and their line of quote unquote margarita drinks, they have come under a class action lawsuit because the packaging, according to this lawsuit, the packaging indicates that you would expect it to be a margarita. But
they say margarita with a twist. So if the packaging didn't say the word margarita, they could probably have not gotten in trouble if it just said Rita.
Yeah.
But because it says margarita, then that would be a class action lawsuit.
And here is how they actually define it. They say there's an absence of a disclaimer or any other statement indicating that the margarita product does not contain tequila, or that the product is just flavored beer, which is what it is.
Yeah.
So because they didn't actually include tequila and they kind of marketed it as a margarita, technically that's not true. And so this class action lawsuit, Bud Light actually just decided it's not even worth going through this whole thing. They just decided to settle it.
Oh.
So if you bought a Bud Light Rita at any point,
Don't get excited. Class action lawsuits don't get you anything.
Well, listen to this. If you bought one between January 1st of 2018 and July 19th of this year, you may be eligible for compensation. Before you get too excited, Nikki's right. If you only bought one single Bud Light Rita, you are owed 10 cents.
Whoa!
Yeah, but if for some reason you saved your receipts, you could get up to $21.25 if you were drinking a lot of Bud Light Ritas. Yeah, and if you did not save your receipts, you are capped out at $9.75.
So if you just join the lawsuit, even if you've never had one, like people just join these.
Yeah.
And if you don't have a proof, then you just get $9.75.
So there you have it. I hate to let anybody know, but the Bud Light margaritas are not actually margaritas. But if you've been under that illusion this whole time, I guess you're owed something.
Well, also wait for the class action lawsuit when you find out that Bud Light isn't even Bud. No.
Yeah, right. It's not even light.
It's
not even light. Well, you know what we should do, Nikki? If you'd like the link to join up on the class action lawsuit, we'll send it to you. If you'd like to admit that you've been drinking Bud Light Ritas.
No, you could lie. I mean, well,
yeah, that's true.
Let's just say
we won't make any assumptions.
We won't. But
either you really want 10 cents. Or you drank Bud Light Ritas.
No, it'd be $9.75.
$9.75, perhaps.
I just don't feel like doing any online work, even if it is for $9.75.
Yeah. You know what? That's the difference between you and I.
Oh, you will?
I don't know. Maybe.
Okay, go fill it out then.
It's the worst of the Riot on Radio U.
I've got a TikTok here that's been going viral. Have you seen the one where it's a woman, she's on a plane, and there's like a kid just being obnoxious, right? Like a child. She says that the child was over the age of 5 and just kept kicking her seat and stuff like that. Meanwhile, the mom is that's supposed to be taking care of the kid is just asleep, not paying attention.
Oh, asleep during it?
Yeah.
Aw.
Isn't that nice? The mom could finally get some relaxation.
I know, right?
So the woman in the video, she's saying, "Why isn't there such a thing as adult-only flights? I would pay so much money for that to be an option."
Yeah, but how many flights have we been on where adults cause problems too?
Yeah, right. That's actually a great point. So
I think what we would do is we'd pay more money to have no one else on the flight.
Yeah, exactly.
To go
You're talking about a
solo.
private plane is what you're looking for, madam.
Exactly. And I would pay a lot of money for that if I had
You
a
do
lot
get
of
to
money.
pay a lot of money for that.
Exactly. So would you guys, would you pay extra if you could do? I mean, I'd say you're quite the traveler. You've been on more flights this year than Nikki and I in our life, I think.
No.
How much would you pay for a child-free flight?
I wouldn't even pay $1 more.
You wouldn't?
I'm unbothered. I don't really get upset very easily. And so for me, I'm unbothered by the children on the plane.
What about, okay. So
do you think you bother anybody else on the plane?
No,
maybe you're the child. That
I'm
people
not the
wanna kick
child
off
on the plane. I sleep the whole way. So it doesn't matter what's happening around me. I'll just sleep the entire flight no matter what.
So I feel like we're probably, knowing you guys, we're probably in agreement, right? The kids don't bother us generally.
No, I don't think so.
It's not a big deal. But I am a solutions-oriented guy. I know kids bother some people. So what about this? What if, instead of having child-free flights, what if there was like kids class? Where if you're flying with children, you get like a different section.
Oh, sure.
But it's like, to make things fair, what if you got like a discount to be in kids class, or kids class was like better,
Well,
like
I think
first
what they're
class,
saying,
but with kids.
They're saying that they want to pay more for a chance to not be around any kids on there. So
Yeah.
you're saying like you could get a discount on your ticket if you're like, bring me to the zoo, put me in the area where they are.
Exactly. And otherwise, you're paying the more elevated price, but you'd be far, far away from the kids. There'd be like an entire section between you.
Don't you think that like the more kids you put in one area, like the rowdier it's gonna be though? Like if you spread them out throughout the plane, at least they're all not right next to each other.
So
but
they
if you
can
stick them all together, they're gonna be 10 times more annoying. I feel like.
If you spread them all out, then they each they pick a section and they're like, all right, we'll annoy this group of people. We'll annoy this group. But if you have them all in one area, they're just annoying themselves.
They're gonna be screaming on the plane instead of just like loudly talking. I'll tell you what we need to do. You stick them in the row with me, and every time they're bad, you know what I'll do? I'll spank them.
That's an Isaiah thing.
Yeah, he very much believes it. Was that called corporal punishment?
I think so.
Something like that.
Real big into corporal punishment.
Suddenly the whole plane's quiet.
The whole plane's like, who is that
right.
guy? Get him out. All of a sudden, I'm
Actually,
kicked off the plane.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
going to say you're going to be removed too.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I also feel that we don't need to be giving airlines ideas for more things they can charge us, more
increase the
fees they
price?
can tack on.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Listen, if you're going to go on a plane, it's awful. It doesn't matter if it's a kid or if it's whoever.
Yeah.
It's 2 hours. Like, just power through it. Just try to
Or,
close your eyes.
You know what you could do is you could be nice and help play with the little child so that the mom who's obviously tired could have a little nap.
Well, I'm not doing that.
yeah, I don't know.
Okay,
about
never
that, Nikki.
mind.
But
then,
I'm not
guys.
doing that.
Did
You know
ever
what?
We don't all
babysit?
have your motherly
No.
instincts.
You
You
could
know?
just babysit the thing and
The thing.
Just
give it
babysit
candy.
the child
Just
for
babysit
free.
that thing.
Yeah.
Okay, make a couple faces at
Get it away.
nice ones.
I do like smiling
Egg
at
it
the
on.
babies.
Egg it on. Yeah, that's a
I
great
like
idea.
smiling at them, but for me, I'm trying to sleep. I'm not really messing around with the children around me. It's like I'm not gonna complain about it either, but at the same time, I'm not gonna be like, "Can I hold your son, please?
Can I help
Let
you?"
me see if he'll not cry if I'm
think
touching him."
The thing is, I guess it's not that kids aren't annoying. It's just that we both, like, despite how we may come off on the show, it's pretty hard to bother Isaiah and I
is.
think.
It
is,
We don't get
yeah.
annoyed. We don't get
Well,
easily
why
annoyed.
wouldn't you include me in that statement?
At least
'Cause it
not
makes
in the
it look
moment.
like
Well, you're
bullshit.
annoyed every day. What do you mean?
And, you're
Just at you two.
Exactly.
and we are children, so
I should be able to handle the in a plane
exactly.
ride.
You should be well trained, well equipped to deal with kids
Like,
on
what's
a
gonna be
plane.
more annoying than Hudson and I for 3 hours? There's nothing.
It is the
Oh my gosh, every morning's like a plane ride.
is.
That's
You're
right.
stuck in here.
And there's no
At
escape.
least you have a good seat. It's
Yeah.
comfortable.
I
You can
don't
pay
know.
extra
This-
to be without us.
This doesn't count as first class, okay?
No, it doesn't.
The Riot Radio U.
I think it's time for some, we could call this like group therapy, basically. This was a concept I was thinking of where, when you're in a relationship, sometimes there's stuff in the
No.
relationship. Yeah,
I don't
apparently
know.
Not.
Hey,
Apparently
pretend
not.
this show is like a relationship.
It kind of
okay?
feels like it sometimes. It's not a very good one.
Right.
It's a real toxic one.
This is not him just, trying to
Unhealthy.
annoy you for not having a girlfriend.
Yeah.
Go on.
So when you're in a relationship, there's some things that your significant other will do that bother you. They don't bother you enough to complain to them about it, either because it's really not that big of a deal or because
It'll become a big deal.
Right. It might become a big deal if you brought it up to them. But I think you still need to like let it out sometimes. You need to tell somebody that I can't believe my partner does this and it really bothers me, And so I think we need to have a forum for people to be able to let that out.
To
And
let us know?
We'll let it out and we'll talk about it. And so it's like you can have a conversation about it without it being a big deal in your relationship.
So, meaning like,
And maybe
if
it'll help-
you guys have something, you tell us. We talk about it on air, but we don't tell their names.
Yeah, we won't tell the names.
Okay.
Unless you want us to. Unless you want us to like.
Say my name. I want you to say my name and where I live.
Lisa needs to know. She's got to stop with this.
Guys, Lisa's listening like,
Yeah.
what?
Like, what is it again? I'm sorry.
So do you guys, we can get the ball rolling though with ourselves. You got anything like, obviously ours aren't anonymous, but you got something you want to let out?
Well, would we want it to be anonymous ourselves?
I mean, ideally, but so here's what I'll do. I'll tell you one that, now I didn't ask my wife if this annoys her. I don't have to ask her because I can tell. Yeah. I will go, she gets very bothered when I go around the house, and I do this all the time. I'll hear a song on TikTok, but it's not like the actual song. It's like a cut up, like messed up version of the song, and I'll sing that.
I knew you were going to say singing. I knew you were going to say
it's
singing the
so,
whole time.
like, it'll be like that song. It's a country song. It's like, rain is a good thing, but they swap out every word with corn. So
Corn,
it's
yeah.
corn makes corn.
You
corn,
sing it?
and I'll just sing that. And one, that's a country song, and two, it's also annoying. And so, and then I'll just sing it, and it drives my wife crazy.
Thank goodness
It's
you
not
don't do that at
anonymous.
work.
It's not anonymous. Yeah.
If you ran around the radio station doing that, I would have
Corn,
earplugs
corn,
in
corn.
at all times.
We do have soundproof studios and offices, so
He
you
just
never
sits in
know.
his office doing it.
That's where I can let it out. without
There is
bothering
nothing
people.
better than like complaining. Like, I love complaining.
It just feels good to let it out.
It does. Like when you've been having something like festering up inside you and you just want to like totally rip somebody, but you don't want to do it to their face because you'd feel bad. So then you just like complain. You finally have like a chance to complain to someone and it feels so good.
So do it.
Oh, you want me to complain?
Complain about somebody right now.
I can complain about somebody for sure. My roommate would be my complaint. My roommate Andrew.
Yeah.
If I had one complaint about Andrew, there's not like we're pretty good roommates. We don't like ever argue or anything.
It seems like you're friends.
Yeah,
more.
we're really good friends. But I will say the one way that he really gets on my nerves is he just like won't let Jim out of his crate. Like he will not let Jim out of his crate. And so like in the mornings, like he goes in usually like after I do, and there's mornings where I know before he goes into work that he just doesn't let Jim out. I'm like, why don't you just let him out? Like when you're getting ready in the morning, like why don't you just let him just mill
Jim
around?
Is not his dog.
Yeah,
Maybe
that's what I
It's
was
not
gonna
his
say.
dog, but at the same time, if he had a dog in our house and I was getting ready in the morning and the dog's been in the crate for like 3 hours, I would let him out of the crate and let him just mill around while I'm getting ready in the morning, but he never lets Jim mill around.
Aw.
And so
Wow.
Jim's always in the crate.
Andrew, now this isn't anonymous.
No
You've
wonder
been
he
warned.
pees when he gets
Yeah.
out.
Yeah,
He's
exactly.
mad. He's never. Oh my gosh, we've had it wrong the whole time.
He's not mad at me.
at you.
Yeah.
He's mad at Andrew. Oh.
He's like, he never lets me out when you're not here. I always let Jim out.
See how therapeutic this can be? Like
know,
now you're
right?
really coming
I
to
feel
terms
like we've
with
had some
stuff.
clarity now with their
Yeah.
relationship.
Clearly,
Some
it's not my
breakthroughs.
fault.
So I've learned to be less annoying. Isaiah's learned that Jim's not mad at him. Think about what this could do for you if you just text in your problem.
If
with
you let
your-
it out?
Just let it out. And again, we won't out you. We'll just say, oh, you're the person you're dating. They never turn off the TV at night.
Oh, I hate that.
Yeah, they leave the TV
I
on
hate
all
that
night
so much.
long or something like that, even though everybody's sleeping. I don't know. That's maybe that's it. I don't know what your thing is. 8772 radio. You text it and
So,
let it out.
Remember that because then we'll feature this every so often.
Yeah,
if someone comes
this
up
is
with
a
a good
standing
one.
thing. We'll call
Okay.
it couple complaints.
Even though I feel like, based on just some of our conversation now, as long as we don't have this be like, well, this is why I'm right.
Now, this is why this isn't going well.
It's what they're doing wrong.
Sometimes it might be you that's the problem, and you have to be prepared for that too. 8772 radio. You if you've got one to text in.
The Riot with Hudson and Nikki on Radio U.
Starting a new segment that we hope to bring back if people like it, and it's we're calling it Couple Complaints. It gives you the chance to vent about something. I mean, it could be the person you're dating or married to, or it could just be a friend or something like that, your roommate, just someone where you need to let it out. You can't talk to them about it maybe necessarily, so you just got to let it out that they're doing something that bothers you. So you can text in at 8772 radio U. Anonymous. We're not going to say the names on the air, but I think this is going to be very helpful for people.
but as long as this doesn't turn into also us just telling on all the people we know.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But
Because we have all good stories.
I've got one here. We've got a couple that they do road trips together.
yeah.
And when they do their road trips together, one person drives, the other person, the navigation person, and the navigation person, you got the maps hooked up into the Bluetooth so you can hear what the Google Maps person is going to say, and the person driving still wants to hear as soon as they make a turn. Then they're like, okay, what am I doing next? Even though when they need to know, the
It'll
Google,
tell them.
I totally get this one.
I do the same thing.
You do with that?
I
Is
do the
this you?
same thing.
Yeah, is this
Is it me? It can't be. Must be Andrew texting in. No, I totally get that. I'm the same way. I'm like, what am I doing next? And they're like, it's going to tell you. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't even want to hear her voice. Like, I don't want to hear
So do you feel
Gary's
like
voice.
You've got
they're,
ways
they're
you-
not giving you enough time?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like to
warns you,
know.
like miles ahead of time.
I don't want it to be this big surprise. Like, in 1 mile, we're doing this. I'm like,
That's
just tell me right
plenty of
now.
time.
I just need to know right now.
It takes
tell
an
me right
entire
now.
minute at least to travel a mile.
Right now.
You can get ways. You get like Arnold Schwarzenegger. He'll tell you.
I don't wanna- I don't wanna
Whatever
hear
voice
it.
you like, it will tell you in plenty of time.
I like the voice of my passenger sitting there telling me. I don't like the AI voice. I don't like to hear it. I don't even want it on. Like, I'd prefer it not to be on. I just want you to be able to tell me what I'm doing next.
So we have that one. Did you say you had one?
Yeah, I have one as well here. And this one, I think is hilarious. It's a funny one. So this one, it's a couple, and the guy has a big complaint about his wife. And the big complaint is at nighttime, like right before they're getting ready to go to bed, his wife is like obsessed with like true crime TV shows.
Okay.
And so she'll like leave, yet again, kind of like the leaving the TV on thing. She'll leave it on like all night long, and then she like will fall asleep. And then in the middle of the night, like it's like obviously true crime, so it's like a horror. So he'll wake up at like 3 a.m. and it'll be like, and she was shot by 3 gunmen while she was whatever, and he just gets freaked out in the middle of the night. He said it's been going on for years and he hates it.
Dang.
Which I can relate to that too, because like when you like wake up in the middle of the night and like you get scared at like 3 or 4 a.m., there's no like worse feeling. It's like a hard thing to shake. Like once you get scared in the middle of the night, it's not easy to get away from that because it's so dark. It's creepy anyway. And if everybody else is asleep, you have nobody to talk to either.
That makes a lot of sense. Actually, I'll tell you why that makes sense to me is because I don't dream much. But when I used to take naps with the TV on.
Yeah.
I've said this before, where like whatever was on the TV, and then I'd be like dreaming half asleep with whatever's on the TV. So if it's true crime and it's you know
on all night, every night.
Their body was dissolved in acid or something and dumped in a sewer, I don't want that to be in my dream. I don't want to be thinking about that.
And even just the voiceovers alone, the voiceovers are so creepy on that stuff too.
Your mind is absorbing it, and you're not even the one wanting to watch it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a valid complaint. A valid complaint. Well, if you ever have something you want to vent about for a couple complaints, you can always text it in to 8772 RadioU. And you can just get some of this stuff out, and we'll probably agree with you.
It might take a few texts.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
if it's that much of a complaint.
That's all right. Go above and beyond the SMS limit.
We want all the details.
Thanks for watching the worst of the Riot. Since you made it this far, you might as well like, subscribe, and check out riot.radiou.com for even more Riot.